We have a rule on our homestead, and that is that if something doesn't produce, it doesn't last. And nowhere is that more true than with our lawn. So, of course, we can mow it and get grass clippings. As you can see, I'm in the process of doing that right now. We have a riding mower with no bag, so I get the joy of raking the grass up. So we can get grass clippings, and that's great for compost, and we throw it in with the chickens and stuff. We do have a little chicken tractor going right now. I'll show you that later. But for the most part, the lawn just doesn't produce a lot. And there's a hashtag that I love on Instagram, grow food, not lawns. Such a cool one. And I want to live that. And so what I want to do is talk to you about what we're doing to actually make that happen here. How we're going to transform this lawn into a row crop situation, how to do it for very, very cheap and make it the most effective possible. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. This is something that I'm really passionate about and falls in line with what we do at the High Mountain Homestead, which is we talk about ways to create better soil, better plants, and better animals. And I really feel like this solution is going to encompass all of those, and you'll see why as I'm talking about it. So if any of that's up your alley, subscribe. I'd love to continue to see you on the channel. But for now, let me show you how we're going to turn this front lawn into a beautiful row crop situation. Okay, so you can see the house behind me, right? And I'm walking down the front lawn. This lawn is way bigger than I'd like it to be, which is why we want to put it to use doing something else. Our entire homestead is 1.25 acres. So not the biggest thing in the world, but definitely sizable. I mean, we have sheep, we have chickens, we have rabbits. We're going to try doing a pair of pigs next year. But the goal is to really make stuff work for us here. And so if we've got 1.25 acres, if you look at this, I wouldn't go as far to say that we have a 1/4 acre here, but it could be as much as 1/8 of an acre of just grass right here. I've tried grazing sheep on it to some success. I mean, it is lawn grass. We do this chicken tractor. I'll walk over toward that, but we really want to make sure we're doing the best with the stewardship that we have, and I believe that we don't have an HOA that says we have to have a lawn, so let's do row crops here. I mean, as great as this is to have these little chicks on the front yard, which we can still do in this scenario, and I'll explain how we're going to do it. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. Basically, we're going to take masonry string, which I had to look it up. That's that usually brightly colored string that you use to frame projects that you're doing outdoors. And we're basically going to frame up where we want our row crops to begin and to end. And so for us, I feel like it would be great. That tractor is 4 feet wide. So I think it'd be great to have at least a 4-foot perimeter of, down the sidewalk, over to that side yard. Basically have at least a 4-foot perimeter where we can always have a tractor on here. So we're not gonna lose the joys of a chicken tractor or a rabbit tractor, which that's dual purpose. And as I've looked at that, that's going to be about 4,000 to 4,500 square feet. I need to measure it again. I say again as if I've measured it. I need to measure it with an actual measuring tape, not just my brain thinking it knows how to do complex geometry like that. So I have not laid down the line yet. The reason is because this is early October, and before I lay down the line, I want to basically get our last few mows in first. So I don't want to have to move the line. If I've got to drive the riding lawnmower over it, it's just going to be a pain in the butt. So but what I will do is we'll lay down 4 stakes, basically make a big rectangle on here of where we want this to go. Now, I do have these big trees. Those are not permanent. Within a year or two, we want to cut those down and actually do a small fruit tree, like a dwarf, semi-dwarf fruit tree orchard there, which I think would be very cool. Again, grow food, not lawns. So I've talked about basically how big I'm going to make this and the fact that I want to be able to run a chicken or rabbit tractor on the side. How do I actually make it happen? So the biggest mistakes that someone can make when doing something like this is not using your lawn for what it's good for. So we have a very well established lawn. I love it. If there's any problems, I have said the grass grows too fast. So we have a really good system going on the lawn right now. What I do not want to do is mess with that and mess with the microbiome of the soil in a largely intrusive way. So winter's coming, and I want to use that to our advantage. So basically what we're going to be doing is saving every box that we get, that our friends get, that our family gets, any box we get from like Amazon or delivery thing, cardboard like that. Sorry to interrupt myself, but cardboard like that is perfect. And once we have those grid lines like laid out on here, we'll know where the row crops are going to be. We're just going to start laying down that cardboard, and every time we lay cardboard down, we're just going to put either just enough soil on it to make sure it's not going to fly away. Okay? And so we're going to make sure to be careful about the type of cardboard we use, make sure we don't have a lot of tape on that cardboard, and we're going to let winter help us out. So we're going to let a cold, wet winter basically kill that grass underneath the cardboard over the winter, okay? And then what we're going to do on top of that is we're going to be piling topsoil and compost. While I'm talking about compost, let me show you what that compost system looks like. But what that's going to do for us is it's going to use the winter's cold, wet superpowers to basically turn that cardboard into a layer that has killed the grass underneath it and is allowing for the microbiome of the soil to move up into my topsoil and compost that I'll be using. So I'm now in my backyard. I've got sheep back here because I'm trying to get them to eat this backyard down as much as possible before I turn them loose on the pasture, so they can just so the pasture is as good as it can be for as long as it can be, right? So judging by this grass, they've got 1 or 2 more days here. We'll see how long. Mostly it's the bawing right next to my house that I can't stand. So I will last as long as I can with that. But here's our compost. So you can see right here, we've got these 4 boxes. Love these. Bought them on Amazon. Really, really easy to put together. Hey, Winnie. This is my favorite sheep. She's a good girl. I've got these 4 boxes, and throughout the winter, compost, I wouldn't say it doesn't cook well during the winter, but it will continue to decompose. With right now, the top layer doesn't need a lot of decomposing. It's just dead grass. But I have about a year's worth of leaves and manure and even some chicken carcasses in there that have been cooking all summer long. So, and it's amazing how much it has compressed. All these boxes have been filled up about 3 times to the top, and then within a few weeks, they shrink. So you know the magic is happening there. So I'm going to take what I can from those 4 compost boxes, which in reality will not be enough. We're going to lay topsoil and that compost on there as soon as we can. I'd love to let it be on there for as much of the winter as we can, so it, cooks, jives with each other, kills the grass beneath it, and lets the microbiome of the soil work its way up into what will be row crop area. Okay, so there is certainly more to come with this. I mean, I haven't even really started it. I'm just talking about the plans to make this happen. Subscribe to the channel, you'll see what it looks like next year. But the idea here is to create enough of a space that offsets the cost of our grocery bill considerably and the cost of our animal feed. So what I'm most excited about for row crops right here is, there's tons of stuff I want to grow, but one of the things that I think is going to be coolest is to grow corn. Now, specifically corn for animals, so like high protein, not so sweet, animal grade corn. And I'm really looking forward to that to offset chicken cost. My dream is to have some clean metal trash can bins that are just filled to the brim with cobs of corn that are basically just ready to be thrown out to the chickens in the winter. I'd love to be able to feed my pigs corn that's grown here. I really think I can offset my animal food costs with this, as well as our own. I'd love to be a prolific canner as well. Hey, if you stuck around to the end of the video, thanks for doing that. I hope you liked it. If you haven't already, I'd love to see you again, so please subscribe to the channel so you can see how this all progresses, and I'll be posting updates as we get closer to it. So thanks for stopping by. Remember to grow food, not lawns, and I'll see you on the next video.